Rain, shine, thus goes the day. It's the order of the life. Accepting the natural order and living according to that gives you happiness. Welcome once again to News Analysis. News Analysis, a weekly magazine on current affairs. To begin with the main points in a nutshell. Sonia Gandhi recovering after operation. Syria violence, at least 2,000 killed, says US. Chinese officials seized and sold babies, parents say. Indian anti-corruption bill tabled in Parliament. Groups operating in India could be linked to Mumbai blasts. Thailand Parliament elects Yingluck Shinawatra as Prime Minister. Now the news in detail. Sonia Gandhi recovering after operation. India's governing Congress party leader Sonia Gandhi is recovering after undergoing successful surgery abroad for an undisclosed medical condition, a party spokesman has said. Janardhan Dwivedi said the surgery is over and the surgeon had indicated that it was successful. He said Mrs. Gandhi was recovering in an intensive care unit of a hospital. The Italian-born Mrs. Gandhi, 64, holds no official government post, but is seen as India's most powerful politician. India has some of the best medical facilities and doctors in the world, and speculation is rife as to why Mrs. Gandhi chose to go elsewhere for surgery. Some reports suggest she may be receiving specialist treatment not yet available in India, but these are unconfirmed. As this is a personal matter and pertains to her health and medical treatment, her family requests that her privacy be respected, Mr. Dwivedi said. The news that Mrs. Gandhi was abroad, possibly in the US, came as a complete surprise when it was announced on Thursday. Mrs. Gandhi was likely to be away for 2 or 3 weeks, Mr. Dwivedi said. Correspondents say her absence comes as a critical time for the government as it deals with corruption scandals and high price rises. Mrs. Gandhi has named a 4-member team to run party affairs during her absence. The team includes her son and MP Rahul Gandhi, who is tipped as a future Prime Minister. The Congress President's absence from Parliament on Monday was remarked upon in the Indian media, but explained by a viral infection from which she was said to be suffering. Mrs. Gandhi is the widow of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. She nominated Manmohan Singh to the Prime Minister's post in 2004, but is frequently portrayed as being more powerful than him. She is at the head of Nehru-Gandhi dynasty, which has ruled India for most of the time since the country gained independence from British colonial rule in 1947. Syria violence, at least 2,000 killed, says US. The Syrian government is responsible for more than 2,000 deaths in its crackdown against protests, says US Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton. She spoke as an army assault against protest hub Hama was reported to have killed dozens of people in recent days. Residents of the city say snipers and tanks are firing on civilians and food and medicine are running low. Activists have dismissed a government decree to allow opposition parties after decades of Baath Party rule. Multi-party rule was a key demand of the protesters who have been taking to the streets in large numbers across Syria since mid-March to call for overthrow of President Bashar al-Assad. Mrs. Clinton repeated an earlier statement that the United States believed Mr. Assad had lost legitimacy in Syria. We have seen the Assad regime continue and intensify its assault against its own people this week, she said on Thursday. We think today the government is responsible for the deaths of more than 2,000 people of all ages. Chinese officials seized and sold babies, parents say. Many parents and grandparents in this mountainous region of terraced rice and sweet potato fields have long known to grab their babies and find the nearest hiding place whenever family planning officials show up. Too many infants, they say, have been snatched by officials, never to be seen again. But Yuan Xinghuan was caught by surprise on December morning in 2005. Then, a new father at the age of 19, Mr. Yuan was holding his 52-day-old daughter at a bus stop when a half a dozen men sprang from the white government van and demanded his marriage certificate. He did not have one. Both he and his daughter's mother were below the legal age for marriage. Nor did he have 6,000 renminbi, then about $745, to pay the fine he said they demanded if he wanted to keep his child. He was left with a plastic bag holding her baby clothes and some powdered formula. They are pirates, he said last month in an interview at his home. A half-an-hour trek up a narrow mountain path between terraced rice paddies. Nearly 6 years later, he said he still hopes to relay a message to his daughter, please come home as soon as possible. Mr. Yuan's daughter was among at least 16 children who were seized by family planning officials between 1999 and late 2006 in Longhui County, an impoverished rural area in Hunan, a southern Chinese province. Parents, grandparents and other residents said the interviews last month. The abduction of children in a continuing problem in China, where a lingering preference for boys coupled with strict controls on number of births have helped to create a lucrative black market in children. Just last week, the police announced that they had rescued 89 babies from child traffickers, and the Deputy Director of the Public Security Ministry assailed what he called this practice of buying and selling children in this country. Indian anti-corruption bill tabled in Parliament. A controversial bill to set up an anti-corruption watchdog has been tabled in the lower house of India's Parliament. The proposed ombudsman will have the power to investigate and prosecute politicians and civil servants. Activists who helped draft the bill say it does not go far enough because the Prime Minister and senior judges will be spared prosecution while in office. They are urging MPs to vote against it. India has recently been hit by a string of high-profile corruption scandals. Politicians, civil servants and business leaders are accused of robbing the state of billions of dollars, badly damaging the government's reputation. The BBC's Mark Demmett in Delhi says there is no guarantee that the bill will be passed. Different governments have been trying to set up an anti-corruption watchdog since 1969, but on each occasion MPs have voted against it.
Government.
प्रेजेंट किया है सरकार ने ये बिल में इस देश की जनता के लिए और खास करके इस देश के गरीब लोगों के लिए कोई भी ऐसा प्रावधान नहीं है जो आम जनता जिससे त्रस्त है ऐसे भ्रष्टाचार को कंट्रोल करने के लिए कोई भी प्रावधान इस बिल में नहीं है। बेसिकली ये बिल जो है गरीब विरोधी बिल है, मजदूर विरोधी बिल है, किसान विरोधी बिल है और इस बिल से ये भ्रष्टाचार को सपोर्ट मिलेगा, भ्रष्टाचार एनकरेज होगा और साधारण जनता को इससे सजा मिलेगी। नहीं, ये तो सरकार ने अपना एक ड्राफ्ट बनाया है जो उस कमेटी में जो सुझाव रखे थे अन्ना जी ने, केजरीवाल ने, जिसको आप सिविल सोसाइटी कहते हैं।
A group operating within the borders of Indian subcontinent itself will be held responsible for the Mumbai blast of 2011. Reports comes. An Indian militant group may be linked to last month's deadly blast in the Indian city of Mumbai, Indian Home Minister has said. Palaniappan Chidambaram said ongoing investigation pointed to the involvement of an Indian module. 26 people were killed in the 3 blasts that occurred in crowded city neighborhoods. The attacks were the deadliest in India since 2008 when gunmen killed 165 people in a 3-day raid in Mumbai. While no conclusion has been reached, all indications point to Indian model, Mr. Chidambaram told Parliament on Thursday. We cannot live in denial. We cannot close our eyes to facts. There are homegrown modules. They do not belong to one religion. The three blasts hit Zaveri Bazaar, an area with many jewelry shops, Opera House, business district in the south of city, and Dadar district in the city center. No group had planted the bombs, but some officials and analysts blame them on the Indian Mujahideen, a group which claimed to have carried out similar attacks in the past. Thailand's parliament elects Yingluck Shinawatra as Prime Minister. The Thai parliament has elected Yingluck Shinawatra as country's first female Prime Minister. Miss Yingluck, sister of ousted Prime Minister Mr. Thaksin Shinawatra, led her Peho Thai party to clear victory in last month's national election. Her party and its coalition partners now command a huge majority in the lower house. After the televised vote in Parliament, King Bhumibol Adulyadej must endorse her in a ceremony expected within days. In the lower house, 296 of the legislature's 500 members voted for Miss Yingluck. 3 members voted against and 197 abstained. The 44-year-old faces the immediate challenge of bringing stability to the kingdom after 5 years of political turmoil. Her brother, whose populist policies won him the support of much of the rural and urban poor, was thrown out of office in a 2006 military coup.